Zoos at sunrise. Zoos at sunrise.
Good morning. Today is Friday, February 8th, 2013, and we have with us today 5 different special guests to help us discuss the hot topic of Ron Paul's plan to disband 5 different government agencies. We are honored this morning on Zoos at Sunrise to have both Ron Paul and his Vice President Sarah Palin with us. In addition, we have us Arne Duncan, the Secretary of the Department of Education, John E. Bryson, the Secretary of the Department of Commerce, and A.B. Goodnow, a government writer for the New York Times. Today, we will hone in on the Department of Education and the Department of Commerce with help from our secretaries. Thus, without further ado, let's welcome Ron Paul, who will begin by outlining his plan to disband the Department of Education.
Good morning, everyone, and a quick thank you for having me on the show. Now to talk about our departments. The Department of Education has grown too big and has become a waste of money. The Constitution does not authorize the creation and maintenance of such a department, and as such, our founders never believed the government would outline such policies. Educational policymaking should be left to the local leaders, not the government bureaucracy. As a result, in my economic plan, I plan to cut all funding towards the Department of Education, as well as 5 other unnecessary departments. In addition, I plan to establish a spending freeze directed towards at least 6 other departments.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Now we have Arne Duncan to offer the counter-argument to Ron Paul's plan.
Mr. Paul, as the Secretary of the Department of Education, I feel that it is my duty to persuade you to hear us out and reconsider your decision to disband our department. The Department of Education's mission is to promote student achievement and preparation for global competitive by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access.
What is the impact this disbandment will have on the economy?
4,400 employees and $68 billion budget are dedicated to extremely important and monumental issues, such as establishing policies on federal financial aid for education and distributing as well as monitoring those funds, collecting data on America's schools and disseminating research, prohibiting discrimination and ensuring equal access to education, and focusing national attention on key educational issues. We cannot leave these issues to work themselves out. The Department of Education needs to survive in order to address these critical situations.
And they won't happen without this department?
The Department of Education has priority goals that we intend on achieving. One of these being to improve outcomes for all children from birth through 3rd grade. 2, to improve learning by ensuring that more students have an effective teacher. 3, to demonstrate progress in turning around the nation's lowest performing schools. 4, to make informed decisions and improve instruction through the use of data. And 5, to prepare all students for college and career. Disbanding our department will terminate important projects that will greatly affect education in the United States.
Mr. Paul, what do you think about the importance of this department? Do you think these projects will be completed?
Unfortunately, this department is too inefficient given the budget allocated towards its operation. While you say these are your goals, I highly doubt the ability of the Bureau to effectively ensure these measures are taken throughout the United States. We have a much better chance of bettering education by allowing the states to make those changes they deem necessary.
All right, thank you, Mr. Paul. Now let's move over to Mrs. Palin. She has come to us today to talk to us about the Department of Commerce. Mrs. Palin?
In order to better and hopefully fix the country's outstanding debt, we are eliminating the Department of Commerce, immediately saving the country around $10 billion. It is important to get rid of these unnecessary bureaucracies that play such a huge role in individual lives. The government needs to take a step back and lessen its role. The people holding positions in this department are not endangered of being jobless. They will simply be moved to another department to work in a new position until they retire. The senior citizens and veterans will still be protected, and Medicaid and other welfare programs will remain intact and flexible for states and not to harm those that are currently relying on it. This will not affect unemployment and helps cut government spending, limiting the cost to just the necessary departments and bettering them.
Thank you, Mrs. Palin. Now we have John E. Bryson from the Department of Commerce to defend his agency.
One of the reasons Senator Paul wants to disband the Department of Commerce is because it has such an array of agencies that he doesn't believe the department can have one focus. But I believe he's wrong. When you look at his game plan, he wants to put the key agencies in new departments and to get rid of the excess. But by doing so, wouldn't Senator Paul be changing the focus of another department? The problem with his plan is it can't be successful without it being hypocritical.
And also, what about the duplication over these bureaucratic agencies?
Sure, there's some repetition across the departments, and we see that with our National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the Department of the Interior's U.S. Geographical Survey. But that's it. What can you do about the loss of the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship? That council fuels our ideas to better our department. With it lost, who will come up with the ideas that motivate our American companies to increase production so as a country we can become exporters instead of importers? Without these ideas, our gross domestic product will plummet. We need to be the exporters, and the Department of Commerce is the only department around that has that philosophy as its focus.
Thank you, John. Now we also have with us today Abby Goodnow, a government writer for the New York Times, to give us a larger picture look at the situation. Now, Abby, how will these changes affect the current overall unemployment rate?
Cutting the 5 departments, though, there will be a higher unemployment rate because 10% of the federal workforce would be cut. $176 billion will be taken out of the federal budget, and 134,000 federal jobs will be eliminated. Ron Paul argues that the plan would not lay people off, but instead these people will be transferred to other departments until they decide to retire. Paul cannot guarantee a job in a new department for all of the people who lost their jobs because there are so many people. Therefore, many people will be left without jobs and the unemployment rate will increase. Also, by cutting the Interior Department, it would cause a large increase in unemployment rates. This is because 90% of the department is people administering programs. By cutting the department, it will leave all those people without jobs.
And do the economic benefits lowering the national budget be positive enough to outweigh the negative effects of eliminating these departments?
The benefits are not good enough to make up for the elimination of the departments. Paul's plan will affect many Americans because many people depend on federal subsidies, and they will not be able to receive any more if the budget is lowered. Besides eliminating 5 departments, Paul also proposes to cut money from the budgets of other departments. The Department of Defense would lose $832 billion from their budget. This would cause the department to no longer have foreign aid, which is very much needed.
Can you just quickly give our viewers an overview of the impact of Mr. Paul's disbandment of the other 3 of these agencies?
Although it is easy to carry out some of the duties of the Department of Energy by private market or other agencies, some of the duties can only be carried out by the department. These duties consist of monitoring nuclear energy and the National Energy Labs. Most of the Department of Energy's budget is dedicated to nuclear materials safety, security, and cleanup. Private sectors cannot carry out these duties, only the federal government, because it is a part of their national security role. Paul also suggests cutting the Department of Interior. Secretary Bruce Babbitt argues that it would mean closing hatcheries, cuts in migratory water hole programs. It would seriously disrupt visitor programs at parks and wildlife refuges, and be the destruction of our scientific research programs. Paul also suggests cutting the Department of Housing and Urban Development. With this department, the community development will lose $1 billion from its budget.
Thank you very much all for being on the show with us today. I'm sure you've all given our viewers a lot to think about as they go about their day today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow on Suze at Sunrise.
Bye, bye, bye.